Welcome to another one of my hooded eye videos. As you can see, I have no eyeshadow on whatsoever, and that's because I'm going to be doing this video a little bit differently than any of the others that I've done in the past. It's been just about a year since I uploaded my most popular video, which was called Hooded or Downturned Eyes? Stop doing your makeup like a YouTuber. And that video has been so successful for me, and I believe a lot of you that are subscribed to me already probably came from that video, from seeing that video. And over the past year, I have received so many amazing comments on that video about how much it has helped people and that it was almost like game-changing because I did that video because I didn't like the way that the direction that YouTube was going, as far as a lot of these makeup tutorials looking very cookie cutter and a lot of people feeling like they had to do makeup the way that some of these other YouTubers were doing, that it was the only right way to do it, which was starting with the transition shade and all that. And I felt like, as a makeup artist and someone with a hooded eye, that people needed to be aware that there were better ways to do your eye makeup, or ways that worked, that were more flattering or easier or less complicated for somebody with a hooded or downturned eye or aging eye. So I did that video for those people that were struggling, that were frustrated, that they would follow a makeup tutorial and feel like they just weren't getting the same result. And I'm so thankful that so many people have seen that video and that they really, really liked it and that it's helped them. So even though it's been a year, that video gets comments every single day. And I would say 99% of them are good. They make me feel good. They make me glad that I did the video. And then there are some that, well, there are very few, but that said that they feel like hooded eye videos in general, the do's and don'ts, that they make people feel like having hooded eyes is a bad thing. Like it's any less attractive than any other eye shape. I never ever said that or wanted to imply that, because the truth is that I think that some of the most beautiful women in the world have hooded eyes. You've got Catherine Zeta-Jones, you've got Blake Lively, Jennifer Lawrence. There's so many out there. I could name them if I just looked up. It's slipping my mind right now, but so many beautiful women have hooded eyes. And of course there are varying degrees of hooded eyes. And I mentioned it in that video as well, that, you know, you might be looking at me and thinking that my eyes aren't that hooded, but the reality is I have a typical hooded eye, that you cannot see my mobile lid. I have an actual hood coming down almost to my lashes, that I don't have any sort of defined crease. Now, there are people like, say, Blake Lively, who have a much, this area here that falls down is a little bit puffier. And that's what I hear the most from people, is that they feel like their eyes are even more hooded than anybody they've actually ever seen on YouTube. And they're just frustrated. I can't think of another word to use, but you know, they want to learn how to best play up their eyes, and just everything that they've seen on YouTube just hasn't really worked because nobody has had their exact eye shape. And you know, what I want to get across in this is that you don't have to spend all that time creating a crease and having this transition color and this outer V color and this lift over here and this wing liner to do this. It's not all of that is not necessary to achieve a beautiful, flattering, polished makeup look. Now, if you want to do that, if you want to apply your makeup in such a way that it makes your eyes a lot less hooded, creates that crease, maybe do a wing liner to uplift the corners, and that's perfectly fine. Makeup is about experimentation, and there really isn't a right or wrong way. There are no rules. You have to do what you are comfortable with, and I don't feel like enough people on YouTube say that to you. Let you know that it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to be frustrated, and you don't have to, there's not only one look that is considered attractive or beautiful or whatever. Social media can put a lot of pressure on all of us, young and old, to do things the way everybody else is doing. And it makes you feel like applying makeup is a stressful thing when it shouldn't be. It should be a fun thing. Now, I know saying, you know, my title, Stop Hating Your Hooded Eyes, could be a little dramatic, but I'm sure there are people out there that really do hate their hooded eyes and that they wish that they were a different shape. So I'm going to show you just pretty quickly and easily how to enhance what you have. We're not going to spend a lot of time working on crease colors and outer colors and wing liners and all that. This is just an easy everyday look, a couple of eyeshadows, a couple of brushes, and I'm going to give you some other tips that I feel will make a big impact in just enhancing what you have. Now, I don't want to cover all of the same things that I did in that Don't Do Your Makeup Like a YouTuber video, because of course, if you want to see that, that's very, very comprehensive. I will link that. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to show you something quick and easy. And, you know, I just really wanted to reiterate that no matter how many do's and don'ts videos you see, or, you know, any other video that's dedicated to a hooded eye, I just want everybody to come away from this video feeling more confident about their eye shape and that they can still look beautiful and polished without a ton of effort, a ton of product, and most of all, a ton of stress. Makeup should be fun. So I am gonna still mention a couple of things that were talked about in those other hooded eye videos. One of them being the importance of wearing an eyeshadow primer, eyeshadow base when you have a hooded eye, because a lot of people have issues with transfer, whether it be eyeliner or eyeshadow. It just doesn't stay on as well. And I think an eyeshadow primer really makes a huge difference. Another thing I want to say, and this is a tip that I received from a viewer actually that I thought was genius. She said that she would do her mascara before her eyeshadow, because that's another comment that I've received a lot from people, is that they hate when they apply mascara on their hooded lids that it ends up right up here on the hood. And what this viewer suggested, she said, you know, I do my mascara first and then I apply my eyeshadow. And I thought, well, that is pretty genius, but what if you get like powder fallout from the eyeshadow and then it gets on the lashes and the tips lighten up and all that? And so then I experimented with it one day and I just took a little bit of my mascara and just kind of went over the tips, and it's much less likely that you're gonna get any on the lid at that point versus doing all of your mascara at once when your eyeshadow is done. So I highly recommend, if you are someone with a very hooded heavy lid, to give that a try if that is a problem for you. So for this quick everyday tutorial, there's only a couple things you're gonna need. You're gonna need a fluffy blender brush. This is the Morphe M441. It looks a lot like the MAC 224. Any sort of pencil brush, a black eye pencil. Did I already say lash curler? Lash curler. And then you're just gonna need 2 eyeshadows. For a basic everyday look for someone with a hooded eye, you want to give the eye a little bit of depth. We're not creating a crease or really transforming the eye. We're just gonna give it a little bit of depth. So you wanna find the perfect mid-tone shade, whether it's a brown, whether it's a taupe. This is just a little palette that I've created, a little Z palette with some go-to eyeshadows that I know work for my eye color and of course the intensity that I like. Some people like a little bit darker shadow, some people like a lighter. But you want it to be a little bit darker obviously than your skin tone, because light colors brings them to the front, whereas dark colors makes them recede. Now we don't want the eyeshadow to be too dark and look like we were in a brawl and got punched in the face. We want a mid-tone shade that's flattering to both our eye color and our skin tone. So I'm going to be taking this shade from MAC. It's called FOLIE, and then I'm using the Morphe 441. Tap off my excess, and I'm going to apply it to my lid, the outer corner, and up to where my crease would be. Now, if your eyes are moderately hooded like mine, you can put your chin up and look down into a hand mirror so you can kind of see where your crease would be if the hood was not there. And then I'm just going back and forth. I like little swirlies. So even just by doing that, I've created a little bit of depth on this eye. Going back and adding just a little bit more. And I always start on the outer corners because I still want that to be the highest concentration. And most people, if their eyes are semi-hooded, this is where they're hooded, not in the inner corner. They're hooded more over here. This area gets more puffy. So you want to keep the darkness focused on the outer corner, blending in. And then you just kind of go back into the color until you achieve the depth that you want. But even with just this, it's created the illusion of less of a hood. And then I'm just doing the same thing on the other side. Now people have asked me, well, what if one eye is more hooded than the other? you wanna make sure that when you're looking straight ahead, that you always have the same amount of product on either side. So if that means that you have to go up higher on one side, then do that. One eye of mine is more hooded than the other as well. So I have to go up a little bit higher on this side. And sometimes you have to go almost all the way up to the brow bone to get that hood to look a little bit more recessed. So going all the way up and just blending away. The next thing I like to do, and I do this in a lot of my videos, not just because it's trendy, but because I like the way it makes my eyes look, I just take a little bit of a light shimmer color. This one is called Old Gold from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I just apply that to the tear duct because I want my eye to appear bigger. Hooded eyes, not all, but a lot of them have a tendency to be smaller or look smaller. So you want to make the eye look as big as possible, play up your eyes, and draw a little bit more attention to the whiteness of your eyes and just give it a bit of a pop. Now, another thing that I like to do when I'm working on my own eyes or a client with hooded eyes is I like to add a little bit of a light shimmer shadow underneath. And it doesn't have to be shimmery, and you don't even have to use a different color. You can go back in with the color you put on your lid with a pencil brush and just smudge a little bit along the lower lash line. Now, this next step is something that I showed in my hooded eye video from last year, but I still believe it's a really, really important step because of the fact that a lot of people with hooded eyes struggle to do any type of liner on their upper lids. It either gets up here or it just fades or it's just not noticeable, closes up the eye. So tight lining is really an important, impactful step. And all you do is you just lift up the eye like so and then apply it right under there in that fleshy area. Now, the next really important step is curling your lashes. And I know some of my hooded eye friends have told me that they're afraid of lash curlers because they're afraid of pinching their actual lid. So my suggestion is that you try different lash curlers because all lash curlers are not created equal. I don't know if you all know that, but some are more curved, some are more elongated. So you have to find one that actually fits your lid. The ones that are super rounded and curved, they don't fit me at all. They pinch my lid or they leave out the lashes at the end. So this one is from Soooo. It's expensive, but it works so well. And I've actually had it for a couple of years now. And how I curl my lashes is obviously I put them in to the curler, I clamp, I do a couple pulses, hold it for about 5-10 seconds, and then remove it. Yeah, curling the lashes is really important. And if you are fearful of a lash curler, they do make small, like micro mini lash curlers that only do a couple of lashes at a time. That would be great for anyone out there that's just afraid of these big curlers that maybe you haven't found one that fits your eyes. This will just, as I said, just get smaller areas at a time. All right, I have gone and applied a couple of coats of NYX mascara. I hope that you'll agree that I don't look heavily made up, but in comparison to how I looked when you first saw me in the intro, the beginning of this video, that my eyes definitely don't look quite as hooded. I haven't dramatically changed the shape of my eye. I haven't done anything, played with wing liner or anything. I just am worked with what I have and just made the most of it. I used a tone of eyeshadow that is flattering to my eye color. I just emphasized the inner corners a little bit, defined my lash line with a little tight lining with some black liner, and as I said in the beginning, just a couple products, minimal effort for maximum impact. For those of you that just want to look polished and pretty, but you don't want to dramatically change anything about your eye shape, and you just want to feel more confident, and most of all, feel less stressed when it comes to applying your daily makeup. If you leave here with nothing else, I want you to walk away from this video, walk away from watching this video, feeling more confident about yourself, your hooded eyes, your ability to make them up the way that looks best on you and doesn't have to suit everybody else in the social media world. And I do highly recommend, I'm pretty proud of that video that I filmed last year, and I rewatched it and I still feel like everything I said stands, and that I am just, again, so grateful that so many of you found it helpful. So please do check out that video for a more comprehensive look into making up or how I make up my hooded eyes a lot of the time. So once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter. Everything is the same. It's all Risa Does Makeup, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.